The Unlikely Architect: How a Focused Obsession Forged the Modern World. Stop. Take a deep breath. Now, look around a room you're in. Chances are, at least one person, perhaps you yourself, has paused in the last hour to tap an icon, scroll a feed, or message a loved one on a platform created by a man who started his empire not in a sleek Silicon Valley office, but in a messy, chaotic Harvard dorm room. This is the story of Mark Zuckerberg, not as a tech titan, but as a relentless, almost painfully focused young man whose struggles, sacrifices, and sheer stubbornness rewrote the rules of human connection. The year was 2003. Harvard University was a bastion of old-world prestige, a place where legacies were cemented by centuries of tradition. But in the brick and ivy confines, a new kind of power was brewing: digital disruption. Mark Zuckerberg, a sophomore and psychology major, was less concerned with the dusty tomes of the Widener Library and far more obsessed with the glowing screen of his laptop. He was a coding prodigy, the kind of genius who saw the world in algorithms, a mind that moved faster than the hands could type, and who possessed an almost alien inability to suffer fools or delay execution. Zuckerberg's initial struggle wasn't poverty or lack of opportunity. It was a struggle for relevance and access. The ultimate currency at Harvard wasn't money. It was the exclusive network, the ability to know who was who. The school itself, however, guarded its official student directory, the physical Facebook, with a frustratingly bureaucratic zeal. This frustration boiled over in October 2003. After a particularly difficult night, Zuckerberg unleashed a project driven by frustration and fueled by a need to prove his technical superiority: FaceMash. He hacked into the university's residential housing photo directories, downloaded the pictures of thousands of students, and created a website asking users to judge which of two people was hotter. The site exploded. In 4 hours, 450 people had visited it, generating 22,000 photo views. The campus internet crumbled under the load. Within days, the university administration shut it down, citing security breaches, copyright infringement, and violations of individual privacy. Zuckerberg faced disciplinary action. The headlines screamed prankster and hacker. This was his first great public struggle, the intoxicating, dangerous power of his own creation. He had glimpsed the potential of a connected yet highly judgmental network. He had also learned, instantly and painfully, the cost of moving fast and breaking things, the hard way. But the FaceMash fiasco gave him the key insight he needed. People wanted to be seen. They wanted to connect digitally. They just needed a system built for connection, not confrontation. The struggle now transitioned from hacking to building. The concept that would become the Facebook initially was born from a desire to create a centralized, reliable digital directory for Harvard students. This was not a grand plan for global domination. It was a practical utility born of technical necessity. He began coding intensely. He rarely slept. His diet consisted of whatever was quick and greasy. His focus was singular, his demeanor brusque, a man possessed by the purity of his code and the potential of his vision. He enlisted the help of roommates and classmates: Eduardo Severin for business structure and early funding, Dustin Moskovitz for operational help, and Chris Hughes for advocacy. The launch on February 4, 2004 was anticlimactic and glorious all at once. It was a digital quiet riot. It spread like wildfire, a chain reaction of inclusion and FOMO, fear of missing out. Within a month, over half of the undergraduate student body at Harvard was registered. The early struggles were immediate, practical, and terrifying. First, the technical struggle. The site was running on a cheap server paid for $100 checks from Eduardo. It constantly crashed. As they expanded to other elite universities, Yale, Columbia, Stanford, the technical debt mounted. The team, still a ragtag group of students, had to learn how to scale infrastructure and code stability while simultaneously attending classes and dodging the dean's office. Second, the legal and ethical struggle. Almost immediately, Zuckerberg was hit with the legal challenge that would define the next decade of his life. 3 senior Harvard students, Cameron and Tyler Winklevoss and Divya Narendra, accused Zuckerberg of stealing their idea for a social networking site called Harvard Connection, later Connect You. They claimed he was hired to build their site, but instead used their core concept to create his own. This was a paralyzing struggle for a 19-year-old, the immense pressure of a legal battle against wealthy, well-connected rivals. While Zuckerberg maintained that the two ideas were distinct, the shadow of the lawsuit was a constant, draining presence. It forced him to mature his defense, manage high-stakes negotiations, and fundamentally question the ethical lines he had crossed in his rush to build.
By the summer of 2004, Facebook was a cultural phenomenon on college campuses, but it was still just a side project running out of a university setting. The greatest struggle now was the transition from a cool dorm room hack to a viable professional company. The team made the pilgrimage to Palo Alto, California, the epicenter of the startup world. They leased a ramshackle house dubbed the Casa and descended into the true struggle of Silicon Valley, chaos and capital. The Casa was a nightmare of energy drinks, unwashed clothes, and non-stop coding. Mark's uncompromising vision often clashed with the practical needs of running a business. This internal struggle led to the eventual famous fracturing of the original partnership with Eduardo Severin. The story, dramatized in movies, was rooted in a real conflict. Severin, based in New York, wanted to focus on quick, traditional ad revenue. Zuckerberg, obsessed with pure organic growth and the user experience, saw advertising as a long-term problem, not an immediate fix. Zuckerberg's decision to dilute Severin's stake was brutal, unforgiving, and in his mind necessary to maintain the purity of the mission. It was the painful struggle of separating friendship from business destiny. The arrival of Sean Parker, the co-founder of Napster, proved a turning point. Parker, a true Silicon Valley veteran, brought chaos, yes, but also a crucial understanding of mission and growth. He was the one who pushed Zuckerberg to drop the and simply become Facebook. More importantly, he connected Zuckerberg with his first significant investor, Peter Thiel, who invested $500,000. This funding alleviated the financial struggle, but replaced it with a new one, the struggle to say no.
Facebook was now attracting attention. Offers began flooding in. Viacom offered $75 million. Yahoo offered $1 billion. For a 22-year-old, a $1 billion exit was a life-defining, generational fortune. The struggle was immense. The temptation to cash out, to accept the security and the validation, was overwhelming. Zuckerberg's core mantra, however, was simple. It's not about the money, it's about the mission. He saw Facebook not as a directory or an ad network, but as a fundamental utility, a way to map the social relationships of the entire world. He resisted the sale, a move of audacious, nearly insane confidence that baffled investors and enraged partners who saw the easy money slipping away. He struggled against the consensus of the entire valley, standing alone in his belief that the company was worth 10 or 100 times more. The next phase of struggle was scaling the mission globally. When Facebook opened its doors to the general public in 2006, the world changed. The platform was no longer an elite college tool, it was a universal window. This created the deepest, most complex struggles of all, the social responsibility struggle. Privacy. As the site grew, concerns over data privacy became a constant, vicious headwind. Zuckerberg's early philosophy of radical transparency, people have really gotten comfortable not only sharing more information in different kinds, but more openly and with more people, clashed disastrously with public expectation. Early features like Newsfeed 2006 and Beacon 2007 sparked user revolts, forcing the CEO to issue public apologies, rethink entire product roadmaps, and learn, on the fly, how to be a custodian of global data, not just a disruptor. Monetization. The struggle to make money without compromising the user experience was relentless. They resisted intrusive advertising models for years, often leading to internal financial stress, preferring to maintain clean design and a high-quality experience. The IPO would not happen until 2012, 8 years after the launch, a testament to Zuckerberg's patience and his focus on building value before capturing it. The weight of the world. As Facebook scaled past 1 billion users, the struggles became existential. The platform, designed for college connections, became a tool for political uprisings, Arab Spring, for misinformation campaigns, and eventually for influencing democratic processes. The kid from Harvard was no longer running a simple social network. He was running a geopolitical entity with no constitution, no army, and no historical president. The struggle became ethical, moral, and historical. His public image shifted from tech wonderkind to corporate villain, a relentless, exhausting character assassination that he has had to face daily. The IPO in 2012 was a moment of technical triumph and emotional struggle. The stock market debut was notoriously rocky, plagued by technical glitches and stock price volatility. Zuckerberg, just 28 years old, rang the opening bell from his company headquarters, still wearing his signature hoodie, a subtle rebellion against the suit-and-tie formality of Wall Street. The stock initially plummeted, wiping billions off the valuation and creating a new wave of public doubt. He was once again forced to struggle against the narrative that he was not mature enough to run a public company. His response was simple: double down on the mission. He focused intensely on mobile development, recognizing the shift faster than most legacy tech companies.
He made the bold, expensive acquisitions of Instagram 2012 and WhatsApp 2014, fighting internal and external critics who questioned the price and the strategy. He struggled to convince people that connecting the world meant connecting them on all platforms, not just his original one. Today, Zuckerberg's success is undeniable, yet his struggle has never ended. It simply evolved from technical bugs to societal crises. He has had to learn to operate under the most intense scrutiny imaginable, navigating congressional hearings, data privacy laws, and the relentless pressure of a 24/7 news cycle waiting for him to stumble. His personal growth, from the introverted, awkward coder to a publicly engaging, if still unique, global CEO, is perhaps the greatest struggle he has ever undertaken. He took a simple, arrogant idea born of a late-night dorm room hack and turned it into the definitive social infrastructure of the 21st century. The final message: the power of singular focus. The astonishing story of Mark Zuckerberg is not just about billions of dollars or billions of users. It is about the relentless power of singular focus and the steep price of that focus. His journey, rife with legal battles, public humiliation, and the brutal severing of early partnerships, teaches us a crucial lesson. The real struggle is not finding your idea. It is staying true to your mission when everyone else, including your closest friends and the most powerful people in the world, tells you to quit, sell, or change course. Zuckerberg's ultimate success was built on his absolute refusal to be swayed by short-term gain, the billion-dollar sale to Yahoo, or short-term criticism, the constant privacy scandals. He possessed an almost pathological commitment to his one goal: connecting the world. For anyone pursuing a goal, whether it is a startup, a career, or a personal ambition, the message is this: identify the core of your mission. Write it down. When the struggle comes, and it will come in the form of doubt, failure, betrayal, and temptation, return to that mission. Let the mission be your only compass. Let it be the thing you protect, even if you have to sacrifice comfort, relationships, and easy money along the way. Your greatest struggle is often the battle against your own fear and the loud, distracting voices of the crowd. Silence them and keep building.